So earlier we introduced the third pillar of computer science, which are loops. And I talked about how there are two kinds of loops. We have for loops and we have while loops. They're a bit different, meaning that you use a for loop when you know how many iterations, number of iterations are known, right? You know that the loop needs to run 5 times, or you know that the loop needs to run 13 times, whatever it is. While loops are when you don't know how many iterations you need to run. Let me give you an example. We'll say while parentheses math.random is greater than 0.5. I'm going to print out 50-50. And I'm going to run this, right? So let's go ahead and run it here. And it didn't print out at all, right? And why did it not print out at all? Because the first time we called math.random here, it was less than 0.5. So how does a while loop work? If this condition here is true, it will execute the body. When it gets to the bottom here, it'll come back up, it'll check the condition. If it's true, it'll execute the body. It'll keep executing the body until the condition is not true. Right? So in that case, when I ran it, it was not true the very first time it checked the condition. Let me run it again. I run it again and it runs 3 times. And why did it run 3 times? Because the condition was true 3 times, right? Let me go ahead and run it again. It was true once. I run it again. Let's see how many times it can be true. Just once. Just once. Let's see if I can get something. Just once. Oh, come on. 0 times. 0 times. I'm running it over and over again here on my side. 0. These are all 0. Okay, once. Anyways, you get the picture, right? While loops are when you don't know how many iterations the loop needs to run. However, you can write any for loop as a while loop. Okay, let me give you an example. So we'll say for int I is less than 0, I is less than 10, I plus plus. And then in the body of the for loop, let's say we want to print out something like 50-50. Okay, so this for loop is going to run 10 times and it's going to print out 50-50 10 times. Now if I want a while loop to perform the same actions, I could do it, except I'm going to need to create my variable I outside of the while loop, set it equal to 0. Right? In the condition of the while loop, I'm going to say while I is less than 10, just like we have here in the for loop. I'm going to print out 50-50, and then in the bottom of the body of the while loop, I'm going to do my own I plus plus. Right? So let me go ahead and erase this for loop and just run the while loop. You can see it prints out 50-50 10 times. Right? Why? Because it does everything the for loop does, just differently. It sets I equal to 0, checks the condition. If it's true, prints out 50-50. Then does I plus plus, comes back up, checks the condition, prints out 50-50, I plus plus, and so on and so forth until this is not true. So it's going to print while I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's going to stop when I is 10. Right? It's going to break out of here. So any for loop you can write as a while loop, but typically we don't do this. If we're going to write a while loop that's going to run a certain amount of times, we use a for loop. They're simpler to use. For loops are easy. While loops get you into trouble and create bugs that are hard to find and fix. So anyhow, this should be enough information for you to get the next assignment done.